Hello, and welcome back to Wonderland Asylum. We're back today with stage 121 of the Hachette Partworks release of Titanic, the ship, the legend. So, let me first address the elephant in the room, so to speak. Yes, this is indeed a new asylum. That's why there's been a delay in videos getting posted out. I had to move relatively short notice, but yeah, so we are all now set up, so just bear with me for the first couple of issues. There may be some movement in camera angles and stuff, just till I figure out what's best for everyone to see and me to also have enough space to work, because it's a new setup, brand new desk and everything, so I don't know quite how it's going to work with camera angles and stuff. And obviously it's not quite ideal with having the window behind me, but it's the only place I could really set up. But yeah, what's in the magazine? We have Vedich, or Vedic, whichever they pronounce it, the immigrant's ship. Makes a difference from a rubber dinghy, I suppose. Again, there we are. People emigrating in search of work and hopefully a better life, as opposed to benefits. And there again, that's them undergoing medical inspection at the port of destination. And that brings us on to the instructions. So it looks like there's quite a lot of instructions, but I don't believe there's all that much to do in this one. But without further ado, let's have a look and see what's in the box. Okay, so in today's box, we have a G1 Z cable. We have bunch of AP screws. We have a couple of IM screws. And we have another bag of AP screws. We have some foamy stickers. We have some decking. We have, not sure what this is. Oh, right. Some very small pieces there. Now I'm going to check just to make sure they did all come out of there. They seem to have, I should have what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pieces. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes, so they did all come out. Always the problem with these brown paper bags is it's difficult to see if you've got everything. In here we have the aft bridge. Now again, in an ideal world I would cut that off and put a different pair of stairs in, but I don't think I'm gonna do that, just because it would leave a rather jagged edge on there, and I'm not keen on messing about with it too much at this point. And finally, I wasn't 100% sure about this, but here we have the aft mast. Now, the detail on it is nicer than I thought it was going to be. You can see there is the ladder and everything there. I mean, I would prefer if the ladder was a different colour. It's probably not worth trying to dry brush it, to be fair, but it's not bad. It's certainly better than I thought it was going to be. Has a nice finish on the top there, and obviously a screw point in the bottom to allow you to fix it to the deck. So let's get the box out of the way. Now the first thing it's telling us to do is to take the docking bridge and to fit the decking to it, like so. But as you know, I'm a bit concerned, shall we say, about the decks peeling up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little bit of wood glue just to help stick this down and make sure it doesn't come peeling up at any point in the future. I don't know that it would, because it hasn't folded in any way, so it might actually be okay. In fact, I think with the size of this, it should be all right. I may live to regret this, but I'm just going to stick it on using the self-adhesive that comes with it. Or maybe I'm not. The self-adhesive is so good. Hang on until I get my tweezers. The self-adhesive is so good I can't even get it to come off the backing paper. Oh. One of the joys of moving house is that my tweezers seem to have been bent. They still worked well enough to grab an edge for me. I may need to give them a quick fix. But yep, as usual, it's a good fit. So just line the end up, making sure all the holes line up. At the end of the day, that's your main point of reference. That goes on there just like that. And I say it seems to be sticking reasonably well just now. I may live to regret not gluing it down, but we can only wait and see. So now what we're doing is taking this piece here, looking just like that, and we're going to be essentially attaching the wheel to it. Now I think that's going to need glued on. It is indeed. So if you bear with me a moment, I'll just get my glue and be back with you in 2 seconds. Okay, so just a little drop of super glue in here. The glue that I use is this. It comes from the department store called The Range in the UK. Now, if you're not based in the UK, I believe you can get a similar product. I think it's the closest to it is Loctite that you can get as an international brand. And again, I do use this just to apply the glue. It's quite simply the handle from a hand drill with a paper clip that I've straightened in the end of it. And what we're doing is taking this little piece here that looks just like that, putting a little dot of glue just on the end, and then taking the aft steering wheel, which looks like that, and just putting the little nub we just put glue on into the hole in the wheel. Just make sure that sits straight like that, because if it's off at an angle, you'll come back to it later and you'll be awful frustrated. Or I will, anyway. But that's just me. So, then with the docking bridge facing this way, the wheel goes into that middle hole, just there. So again, it tells you to apply a little bit of glue, which I am going to, because you don't want these snapping off and getting lost. Fortunately, as I say, the reason I use this glue is it dries exceptionally quickly. So I was able to get that fitted straight away. Again, just make sure it's sitting straight, you're happy with the angle, etc. before it dries. That sits in just like that. And then into the other holes, again with it facing this way, we have the two telegraphs, which look like this. We have the compass, which is this piece here. And we have the telephone, which is this piece here. Now the two telegraphs go on either side of the steering wheel. Again, they will only fit in one way because there is a keyhole pattern. So again, Just a little bit of glue. Excuse me. So get one of the telegraphs. You can see there's a little peg on the back there, and that's what goes into the hole to sort of line it up. There we go, that's the first telegraph in place. Again, just make sure it's sitting nice and straight. Then another bit of glue into the second hole and fit the second telegraph to place. Again, rotate it until it's sitting properly. And the two telegraphs and the wheel in place, it looks like that. Then immediately behind the steering wheel, pointing towards, away from the ladder, so the bit nearest the back here, that is going to be the telephone, which is the white with the bronze end piece. So it goes in this hole at the back. And it's not keyhole because it looks the same all the way around. I don't know what kind of a telephone it is, but you know, that's what it is apparently. Again, oh, I've just managed to bend the wheel out of place, so I'll need to go back underneath that and put some glue under it. Yeah, wheel's not sitting properly, so give me just a moment. Don't know if it's just because I bumped it there, or no, I'll tell you what it was. It's because I didn't quite get the wheel itself on straight, and that's it now. So it was sitting at a slight angle, so when I was putting it in, the peg wasn't sitting properly. That was your problem. And that's it, perfectly straight. Now, excellent. And now in the front hole, the only piece that's left, which is the compass. Going in just there. And again, it's not keyed because it's the same all the way around. So it just pushes into place and looks like that. So that is how the aft bridge looks, with the telegraphs, the phone, the wheel and the compass. Okie dokie. So I think that's us done with that for now. Am I overly happy with the fact that we've done that before we have the poop deck to sit it on? No, I would have rather had the poop deck first, but again, that's not my decision to make. But we don't need that any further, so we can put that aside for now, store it safely for a future stage. But for now, we do need the other decks. So I'll go and get them over and I'll be back in just a sec. Okay, so the first thing we need is the boat deck. And what we need from this, apparently, is if we can turn the boat deck over. What I'm going to do is take the roofs off the grand staircases because they will just fall out anyway the minute I do that. And I think the domes will probably fall out as well. Yep. And what I need to do is identify port J3, which should have a wire sticking out of it. It does indeed. It's towards the aft of the boat deck. You can see it just here, and it'll have this cable. So all we're doing is unplugging this cable from J3 carefully, so as not to break the cable, not to break the board, and not to break anything on the boat deck. And we're just putting it to the side for the moment. And I believe that is everything that we're doing with the boat deck at present. That socket J3 should now be empty. And that is all we're doing with the boat deck. We can put it to one side. Okay, so now we have the promenade deck over, and what we're doing is fitting the mast. Do I agree with doing that at this stage? No, I do not. But hey ho, it will only fit in one way, because as you can see, there's a keyhole pattern there. So it'll go in like that. And then turning the deck on its side and moving it over slightly so you can see what I'm doing. He says, maybe. We've got the IM screw supplied in this issue, and it goes in very nicely. Too nicely perhaps, I don't think it's threading. There we go, it's getting it now. There we go. I thought the threads weren't biting there, and I was correct, they were not. But that there is the mast. It's in nice and secure, and I will just turn the deck so you can see the angle of the mast. Now it should have a slight backward slope, but it shouldn't be anything silly. So that is the mast fitted, and I believe, if you give me a moment just to check, again, my main worry there was breaking these cranes, because I don't imagine they'll be much fun to try and fix, especially now they're attached to the deck. Oh, right, okay, so no, we do still need the promenade deck. But they want us to turn it over. I should have read ahead, really, shouldn't I? Because if I'd realised that we're going to turn this upside down, I would have did this before I fixed the mast. But hey ho, there we go. I'm just getting back into it. I do apologise. So, what I'm looking for is socket J1 underneath here. Now, it seems to be towards the stern, where we were just working anyway. Yep, there we are. There is J1 just there. I don't know if you can see, probably not. I don't think you can. So, what we're doing is into that socket, we're taking the cable that we just unplugged from the top deck. So, I'll turn this to the side so you can see what I'm doing, which is no mean feat, and it's that port there, the one that's, as I say, it's labelled J1, and what we're doing is plugging this lead that we just unplugged from the boat deck is going into J1. Maybe. Do I have your consent to plug you in, Mr. Cable? Right, hang on. Yeah, there we go. That plugs in there, and then it gets fed through this. Again, I'll move the deck so you can see. It gets fed through this hole right here and up. So that'll be, presumably that'll connect back into the very hole we've just unplugged it from, but it goes up through that hole there. Okay. now just having a look and seeing what we're doing here. Again, further along the promenade deck. In fact, it's right at the very end at the other side. So I'll turn the deck over and I'll show you again what I'm talking about. So we're right over here now. And that, there should be another Z cable, which I do believe I have somewhere. If you just give me a moment, I'll go and get it. Okay, so here is the Z cable we were sent previously and told to keep safe, which fortunately I did. And it is going to plug into this port here, which is labelled J2. Yep. Again, all the fun of the fair, connecting these wires. Not. Okay, so again, connect that. And what we're doing with it is plugging it into the extension that we got with this issue. Again, just lining it up so it connects properly. And now I've got the mast hanging off the edge of the desk so you can see what I'm doing here. And just make sure I don't damage the cranes. We need our test board that we had from all the way back, issue 3 I think it was. We got this test board. Something like that. Plug the batteries back in. They're not very powerful, they don't work very well, but they should suffice to test the lights. Wouldn't you know it, it's the wrong test board. This is for a different model. Give me 2 seconds till I find the right test board and we'll give this a go. 2 secs. Okay, so turns out I cannot find the tester board for the Titanic, which is a bit of a problem because it means I can't test the lights. Is what it is. I've been testing them as we went along, so I'm going to just assume they work the way they're supposed to. Dangerous assumption? Perhaps, but we'll see. Okie dokie. So, what are we doing now? Well, now we are fitting adhesive strips to the underside of the promenade deck. Now, I've got this the wrong way around, so what I'm going to have to do is turn my magazine upside down so I can see where these strips are going with the correct reference point. So that's these strips here that we're using. So the first one, now I have also heard people say that these actually cause a bit of obstruction in the next stage when you try to put the decks together, but we'll talk about that later. And again, we'll talk about that at the appropriate point. So this, move it over, this cable here is being secured there. Now this is to make sure the cables stay within the deck housings that they're supposed to sit within. So when you come to fit everything together, you've not got cables sticking out where they're not supposed to be. Now this one is supposed to get routed round here and then get stuck down behind here. That's what they're saying. Okay, I can understand that. Then there's 2 strips which are to secure this here and here. Now presumably that's so it doesn't obstruct one of these holes, I'm not sure. but I will stick it where they're telling me to for now, and if it requires to be moved, it can be. And where is it? It said here and down here, just like that. And then the final one, this one seems to be the one that people are saying caused problems, because it tells you to secure it here, and that then interferes. I'll move this again, sorry, so you can see it then interferes with that screw post. So I'm not sure whether to move that. I'm sure someone else said they routed it round here and it fitted a lot better. I don't know, because it doesn't seem to interfere with anything as much if it's over there, whereas if it's over here, it interferes with that screw post, I think is what they'd said. But it doesn't seem to make a great deal of difference which side you have it on. It's, I don't know, is the honest answer. I don't know. If you have it over there, it's certainly tighter. So I think based on what other people have said, I'm going to put it over there like that. Just purely because, as I say, I've cheated a little bit and watched other people's videos, and they were complaining that with that routed over here, it was interfering with that screw post. I'm not sure why, but apparently it was. So that's that. Then we need to bring over the bridge deck. So I'll be back in just 2 moments. Okay, so now we have the bridge deck, and again, turning it upside down. This time I'll try and do it the way they have it there. So again, I don't see why we're doing it with the foam pads here, but we are. So it's telling me to route this one over here with the cable just under there. That's going to interfere with the LED light, I would think, but yeah. Again, pin it just here, like that. Then this cable here, we're pinning just here, and it's to run exactly the way it's running just now, which is always good. So it's going to stay like that. Then I will move this along so that you can all see what I'm doing. And this cable here is to go like that, and it gets taped directly above this hole, so it's not causing any interference to said hole. Then finally this cable here is getting routed round like this, and it's being pinned just here with the foam pad. Again, I think that's largely just to keep it out of the way when we're going to be putting stuff together. Now this deck is going to be the furthest down, so it's not really going to make that much difference. But again, this plugs into the test board that I don't have to run the test that I can't do. And that's us done. So the main thing we really did was this, which was the aft docking bridge. But yeah, that's us for stage 121. So that's us for issue 121. What's coming in issue 122? A bit of decking, the aft well deck, and an LED strip. Sounds innocuous enough, right? I am reliably informed that issue 122 is an absolute pain in the neck, because we are now going to be fitting the bridge deck, the promenade deck, and the boat deck together. Apparently it takes a little bit of fiddling to get them into place. So I've seen a couple of people do it, but most of them have kind of jump cut So I'll try and take you step by step through what I'm doing. It might be a longer video. This one's already run a lot longer than I thought it would. As I say, I'm out a wee bit out the habit. It's been a few weeks since I did anything. The last videos that came out were actually recorded ahead of time, pretty much as soon as the issues came in. Then I had a lot of moving about to do, and I didn't have time to upload them, getting my internet and everything moved. But now it's all done, I can get back to it. Hopefully it'll be a wee bit less rusty when I'm trying to fit all this together, but we'll see. As I say, a slightly better look at the aft bridge deck there. It is quite nice. I say I would like to cut those stairs off and put photo etch ones on, but I don't have ones the right size. So it'll just have to do as it is. It's what it is. Again, I would have loved to take it off and use photo etch ones, but I don't have the facility, unfortunately, at the moment, so they'll just have to do as they are. But yeah, thanks as always for watching. Any feedback, comments, criticisms, concerns, drop them below. Now, please let me know what you thought of the camera angle. I might not be able to do anything about it for the next 3 issues because I do film them in pretty quick succession. But for future ones, I will definitely go back and revisit. And if you thought, well, that was garbage, I couldn't see, I preferred it when it was top down rather than at the side at an angle, I'll see what I can do to maybe move stuff about and try and get it so I can put it that way, because this desk's a lot shallower than the old one that I had. But yeah, do let me know, do leave me a like, and do subscribe to see the rest of Titanic and the U-96 U-boat. Who knows what's happening with the Batmobile, but if it turns up, I'll do it as well. Yeah, thanks as always for watching, guys, and you know the drill by now. Peace out, everyone.